Hello again, this is the third video. This is going to address the interpretive textual commentary assignment. This is a third, sort of a follow-up to the colloquium and symposium post. This is doing something not dissimilar to the symposium, though a little bit, again, another level up, if you will. This assignment is new to this semester. And I've chosen to include it, or I developed this assignment for a few reasons. And you can see some of the rationale in the handout that I provide for you. But basically, and by the way, I also provide a sample for you, though not in the video portion of it. I think that you guys are going to be able to do that well. Okay, so what's this assignment for? Interpretive textual commentary. Well, interpretive. It's important to provide, to hone our skills in reading texts well, I think, and both secondary and primary source texts. This assignment is going to focus on secondary source texts in particular. And the reason for that is because it's important to, I think, develop the skill in reading secondary source texts, particularly in history, so that we can engage in what's called historiography. That is to say, commentating on what other historians have said about a particular subject. And in that sort of interpretation of that text, we too are engaging in that kind of a exercise. Okay. So you're interpreting a paragraph of any secondary source text that you find interesting, from the period of the start of class to when the first textual commentary is due. Okay, so the first one is due, I think, in a few weeks, right? So after Symposium 1. Okay, so basically you can choose any text you want, any paragraph from any secondary source text you want for this assignment. All right, and the goal is to provide an interpretation as to the meaning of that text. What is the author saying in that paragraph, right? So in the sample that I provide, you'll notice I have a heading. I've chosen to basically do a screenshot of Jennifer Ratner Rosenhagen's text, The Ideas That Made America. It's just a paragraph. You can choose to copy paste in the old-fashioned way, right? But you might find it easier just to preserve the formatting of that text by just like screenshotting it, putting it into a document. And then underneath that, I provide the commentary. That is to say, my interpretation of the meaning of that text at 3 levels. Meaning of the text itself, right, within the context of the reading. Secondly, the context of outside of the text, right, that I'm copying and pasting. That is to say, the historical context. So this is going to require, of course, that you've maybe read other sources for that week, or relevant to, or it actually could be over the course of a couple weeks if it's still historically, contextually accurate. And of course, the third dimension is connections. That is to say, what connections can you make with this paragraph and the implications of some of the dimensions of that paragraph's content with other parts of the course, maybe other things that you're interested in. It could be philosophies, institutions, persons, politics, whatever pertaining to the course or things outside the course, right? Okay, you convert that document to a PDF and upload it to Canvas under the assignment, and then a student in your cohort will then reply to you, right? And then you will reply to them. Not unlike the symposium and colloquium, but with a difference. You will then reply with a video, right? In which no more than 3 minutes long, right? Brief. You're just more or less engaging your classmate on their commentary. And you're basically saying, like, and by the way, I provide a rubric for you, right? That will help you measure the dimensions of the meaning, the context, and the connections, and how well they did the assignment in your review. That's on the handout with the sample, okay? But more or less, you're going to grade your classmate. Now, this is not going to be an official grade, of course. This is just another exercise in hearing each other, learning more about each other, in terms of like your writing, your style, all that stuff, right? But it's going to be a so-called grade of how well you think they did in terms of capturing the meaning of that paragraph, the context, and the connections that they made. Okay, then the original person who posted will then reply with a video, also very brief, no more than a minute and a half, of just saying, "Hey, thanks for that. I think I'm tracking with you. That was helpful here. Maybe not so helpful here, but maybe help me understand." Then you can maybe catch up in class or something like that about that. So it's just a brief, "Hey, thanks for that. That makes sense. That really helps me think about how I was reading that passage," and hopefully, of course, that this exercise is going to hone your skills of reading text more closely, interpreting those texts judiciously or just contextually, fairly, accurately, and so on. But then also in terms of like just your engagement with each other on that level, right? And it's going to become something more comfortable. This is something that I think is good for building friendship, but also building, frankly, skills in oral communication, interpersonal interaction, helping encourage each other along the way. So if you have any concerns or troubles about anything at all pertaining to video posting, whatever it is, if you have any questions about that, do reach out and feel free to talk to me. And again, there's a sample there for you to consult.